two of my favorite people are about to take the stage. Jenny Guy joined us, God, what was it, 5 months ago now? After being just a fan of Mediavine, she met some of our pub support people at a couple of conferences and was like, oh God, I really like what you guys are doing. And we were like, you know what, you're pretty fab too, come hang out. And Steffi has been a friend to Mediavine before Mediavine was Mediavine. She wrote for Food Fanatic all the way back when it was brand new, and has been a champion of everything we've done from the very start. She came to us from Wilkes PR, where everybody has worked with her with Nielsen Massey Vanilla. Now you do that through Mediavine because they still love Steffi. That's the kind of person she is. So Jenny is our marketing associate. She knows everything there is to know about digital marketing, or she learns. Eric says learn. She says okay. She's great at influencer marketing. That's where her background was, and affiliate programming. She's a copywriter. She has an MFA in performance acting. She has been an actress for quite some time. Been in lots of stuff. Was working for a Shakespeare company. Yeah, all kind. In case you guys hadn't noticed already, that she has a flair for the dramatic. Steffi's not far off. They're both those geeky theater kids. So they're going to talk to you about making a brand want to work with you. What? Pitching brands. Jenny actually has not a talk that she's doing today, but I love the title of this is Pitch Perfect, which is also perfect. But she also has one that she does at other conferences that we will be at this year called Making a Brand Swipe Right. And they're just fun. But we love supporting you guys in every aspect of how you want to make money on your site, right? So for us, that's not just about ads. That's about working with brands that you want to work with. We always want to make sure you're working with people that are authentic to you. That provides the best value. So the girls are here to talk to you about pitching brands that you may not have pitched before. Ready? Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jenny, as Amber was saying, and
I'm Steffi.
Look at the power of what I did with this button.
About her having power.
So I just want you guys to know that you're pretty lucky because we at the Outdoor Bloggers Summit spoke together. Yeah, and we really like the outdoors, as you can see. We're both campers.
I'm the most outdoorsy
Happy
person.
campers.
Ask Julia from the Roasted Root.
And hey Julia, what's up? We definitely said we should take our show on the road and be a comedy tour. So there you go. Yeah, pretty classy.
With purchase of conference ticket.
Yeah, exactly. So Amber kind of alluded to this. My session that I give and have given for the last couple of years is called Making a Brand Swipe Right. And that is an allusion to Tinder. Who in here, you don't have to raise your hand. I've used Tinder. Hey, Keita, right on. I have used it before, and if you don't know what Tinder is, it's basically an online dating thing where what you're working for is to create a profile of like 5 pictures, really great quotes, the movies you like, your life's mission, and then you're going through and you're trying to get someone to swipe right.
Which means that they like you.
That means that you like
Never
that
use
person.
Tinder, and
now
I
you can super like. And I always forget if it's right or left, and then I'm like, ooh, that was not what I didn't like that guy. So what we're trying, a lot of times I feel like this is what happens with us as bloggers. We're out there in the digital space. We're trying to get our best articles. We're trying to court these brands. We're trying to get them to swipe right on us. And it feels like it's this weird, strange algorithm like Facebook, which we've already unlocked. You're welcome. So I feel like what I'm going to give you here is a quick overview of the steps that you can take to really get that brand to love you. And then Steffi's going to take over, and she's going to talk to you about the pitch. So I'm going to take you to the pitch. She's going to take you through the pitch. All right. So the steps that we're going to talk about are, first is setting up your Tinder profile, which is basically blog grooming from a brand perspective. And we're going to talk about getting a second opinion, because you can't go on a first date without a second opinion, which is getting feedback on your site. Then we're going to talk about before the date, you got to do your research. And then you're going to make the first move, which is right before you pitch, you're going to show interest. So what we're looking for right now is a relationship. We want a ring on it with like an ambassadorship with these brands. We do not want the one-night stands. That is not what's happening here, okay? So from our first step, we're site auditing from a brand perspective. What is the first thing I do when I visit a site? I'm sorry, when you pitch me. Whoo, those notes are small. What is the first, so I gave you the answer. When you pitch me, the first thing I'm going to do is come to your website. Always. And I do not look at it the way that your other, thanks Megan, the words are bigger now. That is not, and I don't come at it the way that other people are coming to your site. We've talked about the way that other consumers come to your site from Pinterest or from social media, and they're coming to specific articles or posts on your site. I'm coming to your homepage, and then where else am I going to go? Right. Those are the 2 pages I'm coming to on your site, okay? So, what you're wanting to do with those two areas is curate the best possible image that you can give that brand, right? What articles are you showcasing? What's on your carousel that's at the top? Do they have great photography? And think about this, especially when you're pitching a brand that you're very interested in. If there's a post that you're like, meh, maybe don't pitch the brand that day or that week when you've got a few posts that you're not as in love with. Wait until that's swept off, gone down through your RSS feed, okay? You've got to make sure that your social media links are good, and check these over and over again. Maybe put up a little alarm to check them weekly. Quick story, my previous job, I was the affiliate marketing manager and the influencer marketing manager for a humidifier and purifier, and I was working with a local company in Chicago where I lived. They were a yoga studio, and they went and did yoga in different spaces, and they did a review and a post and a few posts and were an affiliate for us, and I go back and check because brands do that. We'll just go back and check those articles that you wrote for us, those posts, and I clicked on one, and it went to a Russian porn site. And I was at work, and the walls are glass, because we were a very progressive German company. And I went, what the f-? And I immediately closed it down. And then I had to call my coworker in, because I'm like, first, I don't know how that happened, because there were a lot of guards on the computer. And second, she came in, I'm like, just click on that. Just see. And then she went, oh, and both of us were just sitting there. And I had to send an email to that publisher to say, you need to check your links. Just check them. That's as far as I'll go. So then on your About page, this is for me. This is me as a brand rep. I think there needs to be a section for you personally and for your blog. They are not the same thing. And we're going to talk more about writing that bio for your blog in a second. But if I want to know what story you're going to tell, what your message is, I don't want to hear necessarily about your dogs.
Unless you're a pet blogger.
Unless you're a pet blogger, in which case talk about the dogs. Talk about dog food. But I think those should be separated out. What is your story? And we're going to talk about that in a moment. Invest in a real professional headshot.
Please.
Please. This is not the time to do the selfie over the cruise ship that's kind of blurry and was from 20 years ago. This is time to, if you want us to take you seriously, you need to take your photography seriously and have a real professional headshot for yourself. Here's another, just a quick pet peeve. Please don't tell me that the pics on your About page are not current. You would be amazed at how many times I visit a website and they're like, I have 5 more kids now, in like a little caption on their picture. I don't know you, and so I don't know that your pictures are outdated. So don't tell me that they're outdated. That can be a secret. You can just leave them up there. I won't know. So you could just leave it the way it is, and then when you have time to replace that picture, do it. Another thing, please make it easy for us to contact you. Not just a contact form. Not just a contact form.
I have to tell you, when I was working in PR, if I got to a site and the only way I could contact someone was through a contact form, I didn't work with them. I didn't reach out. Because the contact forms break. Yep. They're
1.
faulty.
2, if I get there and I can't find your social media links within about 45 seconds, nope, I'm bored. Another thing, if your email address is sparkleninja75@yahoo.com, it is time to get something with your domain name. because I don't want to, because if you are branding yourself from the first contact, and your email address is your brand, and you need to make sure, it's very inexpensive to get one that is reflectant of your domain. And it just shows me that you are taking this seriously, and you are approaching this as a business, and then I will in turn come back to you as a business, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't want to play Marco Polo with your contact information or your social media links, okay?
Also, if I go to your site and everything, let's say you are the Sparkle Princess, everything is Sparkle Princess, Sparkle Princess.
Oh, that's
Sparkle
great.
Princess.
Yeah, your
that's
site
great,
is Sparkle
but
Princess.
then you don't put your actual name anywhere. Okay, give me an alias. I don't care. You can say your name is Judy and it's not Judy, but I'm not going to email you and say, "Hi, Sparkle Princess." No. Make up if you don't want to be anonymous, make up a name.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say probably don't use an alias, because then when I pay you,
I would
Judy's
rather
going to have a hard time cashing the check.
not be anonymous, but
not
I would rather not email, "Hi, Sparkle Princess."
No,
that's weird.
Put your name. I've never come across someone who was like, "I'm the Sparkle Princess only."
I think I've
You can call me Sparkle, or you
weirdos.
can call me Princess.
I think I've had a few more weirdos.
Yes, Nora. Your daughter is just Princess? Yeah.
We both took a blogging course. It was not food blog related or anything, but that person told us to take our social media links off everything.
Who told you to do that?
I will not call out.
Yeah, you don't have to call the name. What was their profession?
Their profession was.
Nora just said that someone told them to take their social media links off of everything.
She said that people will click them and not come back to your site.
Kind of like go down a rabbit hole. And I think it kind of encourages people.
I'm sorry?
I think it could be cheap.
So basically what was just said was that you should not put your social media links on your blog, because people will go to your social media and not come back to your site. I've never heard that, and it's weird. So Steffi?
Put your social media on your site.
I don't know why you
As a
would.
brand, I want to see your social media. A brand wants to see
I mean, if
your
you
social
never
media.
tweet,
Make it easy to find you.
and you've tweeted
if
twice,
you
and you have 2 followers, don't
Right.
put your Twitter on there.
Right.
That's okay.
Put ones that are applicable to you.
But don't. No. Yeah, that's dumb.
Right. Brands are going to... Right. Right.
But if they go to my Facebook, they'll never buy flour. What?
Yeah, so strange, faulty information.
Yeah, that's.
If there's a lawyer, I'm looking for a person to sue that.
If there's a lawyer,
You can go
did
right
you say
back.
if there's a lawyer? You want? There's one right back there. She just talked.
Lawyers in
Yep.
the room.
We got
please
it.
Stand up.
Here's another important thing that you need to notate on that About page. Do you work with brands? Are you open to brand relationships? Do you have a link to a media kit there? If you're open to a brand relationship, maybe saying that would be a helpful thing. You don't need to be like, brands, I want to work with you now! But
And you don't
be
have
desperate.
to put the link, like you don't have to put your media kit on your site. I actually don't recommend it, but at least making it clear
Yes, that I have a media kit
you
available
can
upon
get
request.
one.
And here's another thing on that. Please don't put your pricing in your media kit. I'm saying this from the bottom of my little black heart. Don't do it. Because, one, you're either going to price yourself out with the brand that you want to work with, and 2, you're closing the door on the negotiation before it's even begun, because a lot of brands are also not that smart, and they'll go, "Oh, well, it's $1,500, I'm not paying that." And that's the end.
Or
Where you
they
would
say,
take,
I have a budget of $1,500, but you put $5. I would have
And I
paid you
will-
15.
that's right.
Now you get $5.
So what you've basically done is close the door on a conversation that you could be having, and that would get you more money and more of what, like for instance, if I put $750, but Disney was going to give me a cruise and $550, I'll take the cruise and $550, Disney, thanks. But since I was only like, no, $750, media kit, no, not doing it. You need to be open, and the whole point of this is to get involved in that negotiation with the brand.
Open
You
the
want that
conversation.
back and forth. Start the conversation, and unless you leave the door open for it, it's not going to happen. Yes?
Yes, dear.
Well, why did you not recommend the media kit on the website again?
So
I didn't hear what she said. I'm
The
sorry.
question was, why do I not recommend a media kit on your website? If you are vigilant about updating it regularly, go for it. The problem that I have seen with media kits on a website is that they don't get updated regularly, And so then I might go and look at your stats, and they might be from 4 months ago, and you might have just like had a whopping increase in traffic, but that's not reflected on what I'm looking at.
And again, I'm going
to... If you're very vigilant about it,
get the conversation started. They have to contact you. If you say Media Kit available upon request, the conversation has already begun, and that's what you want. You want to talk to the person that's going to make the decision. The door is open. Open the door always. Okay, so this is a quick survey from Blog Love and Influence. If you do not subscribe and read Blog Love and Influence, you need to read Blog Love and Influence because a lot of marketers that work with influencers read this, and you want to know what we're thinking about, okay? This is a Blog Love and Marketers survey. They surveyed about 200 companies who employ influencers on some scale from large to small to do their marketing work for them. So this is what we're seeing, and I'm not going to read it out loud to you because I don't have time and you guys can all read, but hopefully. And what we can see here is that not only is it, thank goodness, are brands finally starting to pay attention to a lot more than just size, which does matter, but also we're seeing that engagement is finally becoming a metric that is taken seriously by brands. So even if you're not the biggest blogger, you may have exactly the demographic, the niche, and that engagement, because engagement equals dollars every time. That is how you show influence. You could have a gajillion followers on your Facebook page, but if you don't have any comments, any conversation back and forth, I don't care, because those look like bots to me.
Yep.
It looks like paid traffic, and it does not equal influence. Yes?
Can you just briefly touch on what you mean by engagement? Would that be like number of likes and comments that a post?
Likes, comments, conversations, comments on your blog posts. Are you going back and forth with your fans? Are they saying things like, oh my gosh, I made your tofu pudding last week and I loved it, and now I'm going to buy that tofu that you recommended, and things, because that it means that you actually are wielding that influence. That is what I'm buying as a brand. I'm buying your influence. I'm buying your impact on your readers, right? And that is what engagement shows. The other thing that this chart is showing is all of these numbers are clustered really closely together. I think when influencer marketing kind of blew up, size was what mattered completely. Now you're seeing that all of these things are important to brands. They care about your overall aesthetic. They care about the quality of the posts you're making. They care about the engagement that you have. They care about all of those things. So you've got to have all of the things happening, right? Here's the other thing that I want you guys to think about, and I always say this. I want you guys to own your awesome. And we started talking about that a little bit in the negotiation section, but you have something to offer. And it may not be 50 million Facebook followers. It may be that you are kick-ass at creating recipes. It may be that you are killer at Instagram stories and you can get a huge engagement and a conversation going. You may rock at Twitter chats. You may be amazing at knitting the greatest scarf on planet Earth, but you have something to offer a brand, and you have a following that you can sell to that brand, and that brand will love you for it because you have the people that certain brands need. And what you have to do is find those brands and sell yourself to them. But don't go in and go, yeah, I'm a smaller blogger. I don't have a great following. Can I have like a couple bags of flour from you to maybe? And I'll do 17 posts for you, and I'll take all the pictures, and I'll have 40 original recipes that you have all the rights to. Don't do that. You have power, and people are paying for your power. Make them pay for your power. Make them pay for your awesome, okay? Okay, so now that you've done all your blog grooming, now it's time to really take a good long look at the content that you're outputting, okay? And this is not the time to go ask someone that tells you that everything that you do is incredible, like your mom. Like my mom's always like, I loved it, and I'm like, I blew.
We do not ask
real
Janice
bad.
Guy.
No, mom always is like, that was just great. This is when you need someone who will tell you that the first date outfit was an unfortunate choice, and you shouldn't have worn those pants because that's not right.
And that haircut was...
Yeah, questionable. Yeah. You need someone who is going to tell you the truth about your site. What are they really seeing? Because you've got to know what because you know what you're putting out, but you don't know what people are getting back, and you need to know that. But you've got to start out from the top, which is what are your goals, and what do you want your audience to take away from your site? That's serious, right? What do you have to offer? Audience, content, message. And this starts with a concept. And just because you've been blogging for 80 years does not mean that you can't think about your concept now, you guys. And don't get overwhelmed and start going, oh God, I already have 500,000 posts, I can't. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Moving forward, you can be more intentional with the stuff you're creating. And you can also take time to go back and weave that concept in subtly to optimize those posts. Yes, you can. So, anyone watch Top Chef? Anyone in here? Restaurant Wars? Awesome episodes. I have all the seasons. So there's one episode where Tom Colicchio is talking to one of the teams, and he's asking them what their restaurant concept is. And the person says, it's kind of a French bistro, European, and he goes, kinda is not a concept. Kinda is not a concept, guys. It's kind of a craft blog for people who like to eat food and also want to exercise, be paleo, travel, drink wine. No, you can blog about all the things, but you need to have a concept and a point of view on that. That's what I'm saying. You can blog about all the things, but there's got to be a concept, right? Be intentional, purposeful. What story are you telling? What voice are you using to tell it? Write a bio for your blog. It doesn't need to be a 75-page, but write a 3-paragraph bio for your blog. Tell the story of your blog. How do you want people to feel when they visit your website? Use specific words. Who would play your blog in the Lifetime original movie of your blog? Do you want Meryl Streep to play it, or do you want Carol Burnett to play it? That's going to be very informative to the choices that you make when you're writing and choosing concepts, right? Okay, come up with this list of your greatest hits articles. 5. So that when you pitch the brand, which Steffi's going to talk about, you can say, you know what, here's a little sample of my work. I've got, this is one sponsored post for this campaign. This is a personal story that I told. This reflects my brand. It shows the breadth of my work. Here's 5 links, right? What are your strengths as the content creator? Own your strengths. Emphasize your strengths. As an actor, I'm not going to be like, man, am I a killer dancer? Because I am not. And so I'm not going to walk in the door and be like, let me show you my 5-minute interpretive dance. I'm going to walk in the door and do a comedic monologue because that's where I excel, and you're going to lead with your best. This is why we're curating the image of the home page. Lead with your strengths. Lead with your strengths. Always lead with your strengths, right? Okay, so before the date, people always ask me, how do I find brands to work with? The first thing I tell them is to walk around their house. Look at the stuff you use every day that you love. You're going to tell that organic story better than anything that gets sent to you, right? Start researching. Do people work? Find out if the brand worked with blogs. Ask in your blog groups. Do you fit their aesthetic? Because brands have an aesthetic. If you are a swearing mommy drinking blogger, Disney might not be your fit, and that's totally cool. But don't go pitch a brand. You know, if you don't have a dog, don't pitch Alpo. Think about it. Think about where you fit in the spectrum, right? So then you need to find out who you talk to. You need to find their decision maker. It's almost never the first person you talk to. Don't go for broke with the first person. Be enthusiastic, be open, but you need to find the person. And you can usually find them by find out who's worked with that brand, ask who they talk to, get their contact information, and then approach that person. That's who you pitch. Don't waste your time pitching a bunch of people who aren't the person, because there is a person. You just need to find the person. And I guarantee you your friends know, okay? Here's the final thing that I'll say. This is, when you are going and approaching a brand, this is not the time to play it cool. This is not the time to be subtle about your interests. Don't be desperate. Don't put on your Tinder profile that you're looking to get married in the next 3 months.
But also don't pull a kindergarten and like,
I don't really like you, butthole. Like, don't say that in kindergarten. That's weird. But this is the time to say, I am passionate about your product. Here's the story that I will tell about your product. Here's the pitches. Here are the posts that I will do for you. Here's why it is evergreen and will last forever. I guarantee that I will make you happy that you sign this contract, you work with me. This is the time you show your interest. And a good time to do this is at conferences when you're networking with brands. You never know who you're talking to and who is in the room and who is standing behind that booth. If you're like, nah, I don't want to talk to Tidy Bowl, and you walk away. Tidy Bowl might know Disney that's sitting next to them at the booth, and Tidy Bowl will tell Disney that you were being kind of a jerk.
or they might have the same PR company.
You never know. So this is the time when you're at a conference, when you're on, you make everybody want you. we used to go to these big cattle call auditions for acting, and you had 2 minutes, you'd say, hi, I'm Jenny Guy, I'm number 547, and I'm going to be doing a scene from Hamlet, and I'm going to be singing Miss Hannigan's song from Annie. And then you go, and you have 90 seconds, and you go, 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 go. Thank you, I'm Jenny Guy, I'm number 547. And then there's 200 companies in the room, and you go out, and you stand out in the lobby, and then there's all these papers that get put up, and they don't put your name, they just put your number. So you're looking for 547. Did 547 get called back? Did 547, 547? But this is what conferences are like, right? Yes, it's a cattle call. So what your job is, and I tell my students this when I taught, make every single brand want you. Everyone. You treat them all like they're Disney. They're all Hollywood agents. And then when the offers come in, that's when you go, nope, 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 nope. But when they're all pursuing you, then you pick and choose. Don't pick and choose before they've sent you the offer, because Tidy Bowl could offer you $2.5 million or something. You don't know what Tidy Bowl's got. So you make every single one of them want you. You become the star of that conference. That's all I got.
Oh, she'll have more.
I'll stand up. I'll say
She'll have more. Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit about crafting your pitch. Before I start in with my slides, I will give you a little bit of background of where I'm coming from with this, particularly this first slide. So I used to work for a PR company. Amber mentioned I was the rep for Nielsen Massey Vanillas. Our specialty, is, as the firm, was media relations. So that means that I was doing a lot of what Joanne talked about today with her publicist of pitching media, print media, TV, you name it, and that's what we were pitching. And a concept that is taught to people who are doing a lot of media pitching and also taught to journalists is the inverted pyramid. So I want you to think like a journalist or a PR pro when you're pitching brands, because I have found that this concept also applies to brands. So journalists, brands, anybody who's doing a lot of stuff gets a lot of emails.
Doing a lot of stuff.
I mean, a lot.
They're doing a lot of things.
And they don't have a lot of time to necessarily read emails. Journalists, when they get pitched by brands, when they get pitched for stories, when they get pitched for whatever, they want to read the subject line and a couple words, and they're going to read a couple sentences. And if they don't know what the hell you're asking for in a couple sentences, they've hit delete on their inbox. You have got just a couple sentences to draw them in. By the time you draw them in, then they might read a little further down, and they might get to the bottom of your email or your pitch or whatever it is, but they might not. So we think of in terms of the inverted pyramid, and including the most important information up front and including less important information as you go, so that if they don't make it to the bottom of your email, it's okay because they still know who you are and what you want.
Same principle as when you're talking to someone at a booth.
Right.
You want to lead with the thing that's going to hook them.
Right. Exactly, exactly. So just keep in mind, they could stop reading at any time. Have you gotten your point across yet? So let's walk through a pitch. This is in your programs. I've written it in kind of Mad Lib style, I suppose you could say. This is just an example. I wish we had made it a Mad Lib. That would be really fun.
Awesome.
But this is just an example. You will notice, there's a couple paragraphs. But I'm going to walk you through sort of what my thinking here in terms of how this pitch and this pitch has worked. This type of pitch has worked very well for me. So, what do you want? I need to know right up front what you want. I don't want you to start off with, "Hi, my name is Steffi, and I have 2 dogs, and I have 2 cats, and sometimes I like to garden, but only if it's like not too muddy outside and it's like the perfect weather, and I live in the middle of Illinois." I don't care.
Yep.
Brands don't care. Unless it is directly applicable to their product, they don't care about that
Also,
stuff.
let me jump in real quick, and I'm sure that no one in here has this. Form letters don't work.
No, they don't.
You can have a template like this.
Yes.
But it needs to be personal to every single thing.
All these teal things, They all get updated for each brand.
Hi,
That's
brand.
where that research that Jenny talked about comes in, right?
Dear whom it may concern, will you send me $5,000 worth of product,
Nope.
of your product,
Or
whatever
no.
it may be? No, I won't.
So we're starting with what do you want? You know, pick a peg. Joanne talked about it this morning. Like, pick a peg. It might feel contrived. It might feel like, okay, like everybody's talking about, you know, Christmas or everybody's talking about Easter or whatever it is. They might not actually pick up a post. They might not hire you for that. But at least you're showing them that you have an idea. You have a concept so that you're not relying on them to say like, hi, I'd like to do a blog post for you. And then they're like, about what? 3
ideas. Come at them with 3 different ways you could use their product.
So give them some thought. Give it around a time of year. I want to reach out to you about partnerships for, a time period. And don't think in terms of next week. Think in terms of 3 to 4 to 6 months down the road. You can start pitching summer right now.
Yes.
You can start pitching back to school before school is out. You can start pitching Christmas in June. And I know that everyone's like, I don't like to rush the holidays. No, I know that. But you are a journalist in essence. And they are planning stuff far in advance. So look far in advance. And you might pitch summer right now. And again, they might come back to you and be like, actually, we really need something for Easter. That's great. That's awesome. Yes.
6 months for print. I'm print.
Yes.
Really
Print
hard.
journalism is absolutely 6, sometimes even 8 months in advance. Yes, absolutely.
It also shows that you're on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're thinking ahead. You got your stuff together.
I know that the holidays are a big season for you. I've got these ideas that I saw you do in this X, Y, and Z post. I think we can really elevate that this next season with some of my ideas on this, this, and this.
For sure.
Whoa, she's thinking about Christmas.
So
I'm not thinking about it either.
So the next we're talking about who are you and why should they care? And I don't mean who are you in terms of like, I have 4 kids and one of them likes to do basketball and sometimes on weekends we go to the park. Like that's
it's nice.
It's nice. It's nice information, but put that on your like about you section of your site. I want to know about who are you in terms of your site. When did it, if it's applicable, when did it start? What's your purpose? How have you grown? What are you known for? Those things that you're figuring out what sets you apart. That's what you need to talk about.
It's your elevator pitch.
As soon as you can. Get that up there so that they know like this is why this person is a baller. Baller. Part 2, it's helpful, but not as crucial info. So what else can support your pitch? A partnership with XYZ brand would be a natural fit for my readers, and here's a sentence of why. And don't go on for like a paragraph and a half. Give it to me in literally like 1 sentence. I should note it depending on the brand, depending on the site and your niche, why this fits well, why you fit well with the brand may come before who you are. It may be more important than who you are in specific cases. So that's, take a look at the brand, take a look at what you're pitching, and kind of think about like, is it more important to tell them what my site is overall and what my readers are looking at overall, or is it more important to tell them exactly why this, niche sites, this may be something that you talk about first?
Specific example, like with the humidifier purifier that I had, if somebody, for instance, if you know that I have a direct competitor and your child became ill from the direct competitor's humidifier and has a special breathing problem, that's something to lead with. Mm-hmm. You just sold me. I'm sold. Like if that's something that you have a very personal connection, do that.
Exactly. So think about it. Again, no form letters. Think about each brand individually. Okay. Part 3. It's helpful, but again, it's the stuff that like if you got to leave it out, like they don't get to it. Okay, it's fine. Consider listing some tactics or post ideas. Again, I'd love to hear how you can work with this. Maybe you are pitching them for a custom recipe, for Facebook Live. Like, give them a couple of ways that they can work with you, because like they might not have a budget for sponsored posts, but they might be looking for someone to do some product photography. They might be looking for someone to do some recipe development specifically for their site. They might be looking for someone to do some video work for them. So you might be really wanting to do this big blog ambassadorship. They just don't have budget for it. If they think that's all you want to do, then they might say, so sorry, bye. But if they know that you're open to doing other things, it might jog their, they get to that and they're like, oh, well, I can't, we're not really doing a lot of like influencer specific stuff, but I have just been tasked with getting 60 new recipes for our website with accompanying photos. Maybe they'd do that, because I do like their stuff.
And think about that before you pitch the brand. Think about what you would be interested in, what you would entertain from them.
And again, you're going back to your research. You're looking at their website, and you're seeing like, do they have a lot of stuff? Like maybe they have a lot of recipes, but a lot of those recipes don't have photos.
Or videos.
Or videos. Like maybe that's
You're a
something
video
that
2018.
you're throwing in as something that you can do. Offer to or link to your media kit. I'm happy to send it over, or here is, you can find it at, here's, a link to it. Don't attach it, because that invariably will be caught in the spam, so don't attach it. But if you want to send it over, you can, or you can ask, say, just let me know, and I'm happy to send it over.
And a media kit is 1 page. Sometimes you can have an addendum to it with samples of work, but it's 1 page.
Yep. Again,
Like a resume.
Just think of brands as just having like the tiniest attention spans. Gnat length attention spans, okay? Like
a gnat.
Like a gnat.
On that media kit. You only have 1 page. What are you looking for?
I want like the brief bio. I want
this paragraph, and I want
the numbers.
this paragraph. I want the stats. I want to know what sets you apart.
Lead with the best foot forward. My highest engaging platform is XYZ. Here's an example of the conversations I have. Here is in previous sponsored posts, here's 3 quotes from brands which you can get, which is very, very smart. If you have a great experience working on a sponsored post with the brand, ask their brand rep to give you a quote to put in your media kit. Working with Kimberly was a breath of fresh air. She really told a story that was deeply personal and was so great to work with. Her metrics were easy to obtain because she sent them to me and I didn't have to follow her around. Include something like that.
Also, make sure on that media kit, the hyperlinks are clickable.
Oh God.
I can't tell you how many times
Sorry,
I get a media kit and it would say,
Click here.
I'm Sparkle Princess.
We're back to her again.
And
That idiot.
there's no one Sparkle Princess.
Or Sparkle
There's
Princess.
Sparkle Princess, but Sparkle Princess, like she might even put her URL, but it's not like clickable.
Don't put non-clickable
I'm like,
links anywhere ever.
No, I have
terrible
to
when
open
it looks
a
like
browser.
the different color.
I'm an intelligent woman. Like, I have a really good work ethic, and I am like, I have to like go to my browser and put it in.
No, if it's digital and if it's a different color and underline,
Make it as easy
The point is to make it as easy as you possibly can for the brand to obtain the information from you.
And then you've got a polite closing. Always a polite closing, right?
Polite.
So, what are you going to do after you've sent this pitch and you haven't heard a peep? You're going to follow up. And follow up is so forgotten, and it is so important, you guys, because here's the thing. They might not be like purposefully ghosting you. They might not, like you met them at a conference and they said, oh, reach out, need to reach out, and then you don't hear anything. Like, they might not be purposefully ghosting you. They just are getting a lot of emails.
Or they're at a conference.
Or they're attending something, right? I mean, now that we know anything about that. They're attending something and, they're traveling and they see your email in their inbox and they're like, okay, I'm going to respond. I'm going to respond to Steffi tomorrow when I'm back at my desk. And then tomorrow comes and they've gotten 76 emails since then and they just forget. It's nothing personal. They've just forgotten. When you follow up, it brings that email back to the top of the recipient's inbox so that you are, now they're like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm the worst human ever.
Forgot Sparkle Princess.
Forgot Sparkle Princess. I was going to respond to her. So set yourself a calendar reminder. You can use spreadsheets. I bet Airtable would be really excellent for this. Like, you can set yourself, you know, make a note, truly, like, have a spreadsheet. What was the brand? Who did you reach out to? What was their email address? When did you send your original pitch? And then keep track of when you followed up. Follow up 1 to 2 weeks later. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that work because of a follow-up email and not necessarily just because I sent that first email.
Oh, no.
Because they're like, oh, yes, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I was going to respond. And it just happens.
And if you get rejected,
Then,
just talking about that. So let's say that they don't have budget right then. That doesn't mean it's the end of the game.
right.
It
You
just
still-
means
at
it's
least
time
you've
to
had a
start something else.
conversation.
If someone sent you something, if someone responded to you, that means they thought about you.
Yep.
That means that you were not, I may not have budget right this second.
Yep.
But maybe in 3 months I do, and maybe when you had that viral Instagram post that you've got a whole new traffic level threshold now, and you come back to me and you say, I just wanted to show you a little bit more of the work I've done. 2 months later, 3 months later, I'm like, man, I really did like that person. I have budget now.
Yeah, and they were really polite. That plays a big thing. Always be nice.
True.
So my recommendation when I follow up, and I did this when I was working in media too, send your follow-up as a reply on top of your first email. So go into your sent box, find that first email, hit reply, and make sure that you're not replying to yourself.
Which
because,
I've done.
I mean, not that I've ever done that 1,001 times.
Why am I getting these emails? They're from me.
Yeah. Make sure that you put the actual person you're trying to reach to back in that line. And then just say, you know, I just wanted to circle back with you and see how your plans were coming. And then find something new. Give them a new nugget of information. We did this all the time pitching media. Hold back a nugget. Like, hold something back so that then you have power when you are following up. So if there's something awesome that's happened in the last couple of weeks for you, maybe you had a post go viral, maybe, you know, you've seen some really awesome engagement, you know, whatever it is, throw that in there. Give them that little extra bait to hook them in, okay? And then, you know, this is just really, we're going to want to leverage this reach for your brand. Again, a polite closing. Happy to answer questions you have. Look forward to connecting, okay? And I say just keep swimming because, like...
Lucky Finn.
Right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about pitching anything. You're never going to get a 100% response rate.
You got
just
50, you're
aren't.
rad.
Right. Like in media, we were told 10%.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's normal. Like, not everyone's going to respond, even with follow-up. It just happens. But if you haven't gotten a response and you really want to work with a brand, try new contacts. You know, if you have talked to everyone you know and no one has really the key to this brand, try finding someone new. You know, even if you have to email info@email, at least you're emailing something, right?
Also, don't panic if you're not getting an answer back from your regular person, because sometimes people get fired.
Or get new jobs.
They leave.
Sometimes
so don't be
people
like,
get hired
God,
by
they hate
Mediavine.
me. The
I don't
brand
know.
hates me. They just might not be there anymore.
Exactly.
So don't panic.
So look for new contacts every few months. You know, it's been 6 months since you reached out to this brand, and you know you've never got anything back from them. But you know, maybe set it on your calendar. You're going through your spreadsheet and you're kind of seeing it's sort of the low-hanging fruit there. Go back and see if there's a new contact listed on the website, or you know, if there's a new email, or if you know there's a new social media that they're using, and you might be able to find something there. Just go back and look. You might not find anything, but you also might find a new contact person, and that's someone that you can reach out to, and just keep on keeping on, because you're awesome. Own that awesome. Not every brand is going to buy into it. That's okay. Someone will. Keep on doing what you're doing. Produce amazing content and just keep on.
And make dream lists for your brands. Like have your like
Yes.
Tiger Beat magazine of the brands you want to work with. Oh my God, JTT is so hot.
Yes.
I just dated myself. But put that in like my top 5 brands, my like super duper platinum brands.
Put
Then
it
I've
in
got
the
my next
universe.
tier of brands. Then I've got my next tier. You've got the list. Put it in your calendar. Every 6 months I reach out to XYZ. I share these things with them because at some point I will work with.
Right, and it's interesting that she says that because last year our keynote speaker talked about like making space in the universe for things, and so she talked about like getting a chalkboard and like literally like making space for brands.
Really cool speech.
And when I started this job, I did that. I have the whiteboard and I literally made spaces. I wanted to get X number of campaigns in X amount of time.
I know.
And guess what? It happened because I was looking at that and I put it out in the universe. And I mean, whatever. But like, it sounds a little like hokey dokey, but I think it really can work. So just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep being awesome. Do we have any questions?
Yep. Oh, and please go to the mics to ask the questions. Thank you.
So I'm on gardening and healthy living.
Okay.
Sweet.
So my, God bless them, my people are, my brands are like, I will give you some seed packets. So they're a little bit behind other sophisticated brands. So it's
It's like, we pay in carrots.
It's planting season.
I'll barter a blog post for a bunch of wildflowers.
I can't tell you how many people
I'm
are
sure
like,
that's
"Give me
true.
$50 in seeds." I'm like, I can't pay my graphic designers.
Right.
Heard.
So if I get a nibble off of one of the little guys, should I have pricing tiers? I mean, Home Depot, they've got bazillions of dollars.
So
How does that go?
I'm a big believer in meeting brands where they're at. And I'm not saying compromise everything. If you normally charge $1,500 for a post, accept $100 for something, like don't do something you're not comfortable with. But like if it's a brand you want to work with, and you really think like, okay, this could bring in something else or open the door to something else. And I'm comfortable with taking a little less than my normal rate because I know that they just don't have capacity.
And ask
If you're
questions,
comfortable
though.
with it, that's okay. But like have that conversation.
Get them
and,
on the phone.
Really.
And say, you know what? I love your brand. I'm already an evangelist for your brand. So what can we do? Have you thought about setting up an affiliate program? I'm very interested in offering that product on my site.
Yep.
Let's negotiate a percentage for each click, each sale, whatever it is.
Right.
Talk to that person because if they already know that you're writing about them, then if you're already doing it, it's a no-brainer. So get the affiliate thing and just have a side. Yeah, it's easy.
Right. So, but like always, if you are comfortable with it, like that's the most important thing.
I mean, like, even if it's like Podunk, whatever, in Missoula, wherever it is, and you don't think you're ever going to want to work with them no matter what, ever, you still want them to leave with a great feeling about you.
Be always
Talk
be
to them,
sweet
and you
nice.
never know who Missoula might end up coming into the money, and then all of a sudden, you know who was really nice to me and didn't slam the door in my face when I was nobody? That person didn't.
Yep, absolutely.
Make them all want to work with you. Yes.
Okay, I have two. First one I think is easy, but I want to make sure. But I think we all probably get those spammy looking emails where they're form letters and I'm like, so and so has a new book coming out about menopause, and I'm like, great. But somebody told me to be really nice to these people because they're PR people.
Sometimes they are PR people. They're
Yeah,
PR
and
people
so I'm
who
like,
are just
do I
doing their dang jobs.
Yeah, so
They're
I'm like,
just
do I
doing their
go
dang
down
jobs.
their name?
Please be nice to them.
Yeah, like,
please
should
don't
I
email them and be like, I don't want your free crap. Like, don't
say
do that
that.
because they might have budget
Budget.
that they just can't say because they're sending out a media pitch, like whatever,
Yeah.
they're just doing their thing. B, that client might not have money, but they might also work with another client who has got hella money.
Okay.
So I sort of have like a little pitch that I just respond to that kind of
that's
stuff
okay.
with, and it's like, I think your brand would be perfect for XYZ. And it's a little bit of an abbreviated version of my full pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I get nothing, and so I have gotten responses from that, and that's turned into paid work. So.
And a real good way to figure out if someone's serious about wanting to say something is try to get them on the phone.
Okay.
Like if you really want to find out, come down to brass tacks and find out if somebody really, really does want to work with you or if it's a form letter, why don't we schedule a call up next week?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Silence. But if they're like, yeah, let's do it Tuesday,
Okay.
then you know.
The other one is a little like, I don't know, like own your awesome and all that. But like I reached out to somebody, I sent the, the little, like I researched everything, did it all perfect. So we could do Facebook Live, we could do a blog post because that's a little bit more expensive, or we could just do a couple little shout outs. What would you feel comfortable with?
Sure.
And it was like, yes. And I'm like, well, okay, like, what do you want? And then they're like, we'll send you a free case of wine. But then it
Did
was
they
like,
answer late at night? Were they drinking wine?
Were they drunk?
Not that that's ever happened.
well, which one did you want? And then it got kind of like weird. And then I just
Wait, so
felt like-
you said, no, wait, so I'm sorry, so you sent a very detailed pitch,
Yes, it was just.
and did you say, let's start a conversation, and their response was yes?
Well, I mean, they responded back more, but like, yes, let's do all of that. Let's do the blog post. Let's do the.
Great, and so you're asking about
and then
pricing?
they switched you.
Oh, no, then they switched to, we'll give you a free product.
Yeah. And so then I was like, well, how do I come back and go, well, normally I charge this for a blog post, this for a Facebook.
Like that.
Exactly. Exactly that. You say.
Normally I'm
I
so
love
glad
your
that you're
product.
interested. That's fabulous, and I would love a free case of wine because duh. But let's talk about the things. See, these are my normal prices, and you can maybe talk about offsetting those costs by a big free case of wine.
Okay.
Maybe you'll drop your prices by $100 because of your very kind and generous offer of the case of wine,
Okay.
which I will take amazing pictures of in my amazing house. But just come back and say it.
Okay.
And then say, but I would like to get on the phone with you. My friend Jamie, who spoke earlier, she's my good friend. She is the Shirley to my Laverne. She always says get him on the phone because you can always get so much more information than from an email.
Yeah.
If you get someone on the phone for negotiations, you can do that. So get them on the phone.
Okay, and then just have it like in like a contract or whatever, so you know how much you're getting paid.
Oh my
Always.
God, always a contract.
Always.
Guys,
I didn't know when you got to that point, so that's why I was.
whenever you talk about doing anything for anybody, you get it in writing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Always, guys. I mean, just to be honest.
And you can also say like, even just sometimes saying like, okay, I'm gonna go draw up a contract and I'll have that to you, tomorrow.
Okay.
Or, do you have a contract you like to use? I can draw one up if not.
I'll have my lawyer take a
sometimes
look at it. If you don't have a lawyer, it doesn't matter, but still
Sometimes
say
that
it.
will sometimes that will spur things on of like,
Okay,
oh,
that's what I was
okay,
wondering.
this
How
is
do you-
now they're serious, and if they weren't serious before, they'll be like, I'm just kidding, don't do that.
Even if it's just product, you still need a contract of the expectations of both parties and what the deliverables are. You are giving me X, I am providing Y. So that there is a finite amount of time for this to occur. This is when the payment will be made. All of that stuff has to be explicitly laid out, and especially if you talk on the phone. I like to, every time after I get off the phone with someone in terms of a business negotiation, I like to take my notes while we're on the call, so I can have my hand list set and be typing while I'm doing it, because I don't like writing anymore because that's dumb. But I like to
I
type,
still write.
and then what I do is I will put it all in an email, what I heard, the conversation that we had, just to reiterate what we just spoke about, to make sure they're hearing the same thing, because a lot of times you're on the phone and you're not getting clear communication. You want to make sure that you're both clear about what the deliverables are, what the conversation was you just had.
Okay, as a follow-up to our call, thank you so much for jumping on the
Exactly.
phone with me. It was so delightful to talk to you. As a follow-up, I'm going to send you XYZ, and you're going to send me ABC.
Steffi is so good at this. We've done a lot of calls together, and she's always like, just to wrap up the calls, we're getting ready to go, just to be real clear, here's your action item, here's your CTA, here's my CTA, and now let's get off the phone, as opposed to being like, okay, I'm glad we had this really great talk about how we're going to work together forever.
Hi.
All right, well, this is, bye. And then you hang up and you're like, we didn't decide anything.
Yeah.
We talked for 30 minutes and nothing happened.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
welcome.
Thank you. We didn't answer your question, did we? Okay, good. Sorry,
Right.
squirrel.
Hi. I'm actually in the travel blogging world, so it's a little bit different.
Sure.
Because a lot of destinations, they don't have money. They
Sure.
still work on the whole like free press trip
Sure.
kind of idea. However, I think my question is still relevant. So let's say that you have worked with a brand in the past and it's one of your like dream brands or whatever, and then inevitably your PR contact leaves and it fizzles out, and then eventually you get another contact and everything's going great, and going back to the whole relationship analogy, they ghost on you. how long should you continue to like pursue that, especially if it's a brand you've worked with successfully in the past? How long before you just have to like give up on it?
How long? Give me it. Well,
So
all right. How great was this brand to you in the past? Were they like a super awesome boyfriend that like took you on a surprise vacation over the weekend, or
They were. I mean,
they gave you a pair of
company, like,
socks
I
one
had
day?
an actual like contract
So-
in the past, and is
Oh, you
like,
had contract work. Yeah.
a perfect fit for my brand.
I
So.
would, if you have a phone number, I would give them a call. Right?
Are there
I've done this to get paid before. Like, I've gotten ghosted via email, and so
Yes.
then I pick up that phone, and I say, "Hi, I'm looking for Jane Doe," and I see what happens
Why you
when
couldn't find her because her name's Jane Doe.
I'm looking for Jane Doe, and with the person who's answering the phone, if they're like, "Oh, so and so's not here anymore," then you say, "Great, who is the next best? Like, who's doing that person's job now?" Essentially,
I would
like
say-
The sad thing is, like, my PR contact, like, I know he's still there because I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Okay, well here's the other thing. How bad do you want to work with the company, and how much are you willing to go out on a limb? Are you willing to do a grand like skywriting, Justin, will you go out with me tomorrow thing? Because if you are, you could always just be like tag it in a post and be like, post your blog post up, tag your friend in a post and say, I remember working with this brand. It was so much fun. Throwback Thursday to when I worked with this brand. I loved it. Hey, Justin, what up?
be a little bold.
Mic drop. No, but seriously, like if you want to, or is there someone else you can talk to there at the company?
Or
because
can
maybe
you
Justin's
find,
just being real lazy.
Are you able to find something to the brand directly and sort of skirt around that person?
Tell Justin's mom that he's not calling you back.
Yeah, Justin was being shady. Sometimes you have to be a little out there, but
All right.
I mean, it depends on how valuable that relationship is to you.
How far do you want to go?
Yeah.
I mean, and you don't want to be like crazy person that's like, hey, Justin, I brought you 7,000 dozen cookies. They're your favorites. But if it's something that's important, see if you can skirt around. Ask in some of your Facebook groups. Are they putting up sponsored content at all right now? I'm asking.
Not necessarily sponsored contact, but they are working with other bloggers.
Great.
So.
Then you know that they're still open to that kind of relationship. So then, if nothing else, maybe reach out and say, hey, I just was looking for some feedback. Is my site not the niche you're looking for right now?
Right.
Yeah.
Get some real
If they
honest.
still ghost on you, just give up.
I'm a never give up kind of person. I mean, that's me.
I usually am too, but this has like been going on for a year, and
Oh.
I'm kind of at the point where I'm like,
And this is the same
There are
person?
there are some boyfriends that are just not good.
it was the same person, and then it was a new PR person that is now it's happening again with this.
Okay, can you reach out to the old PR person and ask them what the heck?
Yeah, I have
And what did they say?
nothing. Ghosting still.
They ghosted too? Did you like set their town on fire when you visited there? Did you kill their state bird or like, I don't know. No? Huh. Can you discreetly ask in some blogger groups what's going on? Can you ask what's working for the people who are working with them? Do you know any of the bloggers whose sponsored content is showing up?
I don't know. I'd have to like do some digging. I think.
Then do some digging.
Yeah.
Get out your shovel.
Yeah, this depends on how valuable that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just need to start to, at some point, weigh your ROI, your return on your investment. Is this worth it, or has it become a personal vendetta and a mission?
I mean, a little bit. Of
I will make this person like me. You will
all had
love
those.
me.
We've all
Like,
had those.
figure out where you are in that, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Thanks.
Yes, dear.
Okay, so I just want to know, do you have any recommendations for subject lines to use or not use when you're sending pitch emails to get them open?
Good one.
Honestly, if you're like pitching like a topic or a theme, like blah blah influencer campaign, 2018 influencer campaign. Like, I mean, get to the dang point.
So would you do like Christmas campaign? Is that what you mean? Or like
Yeah, holiday cookie influencer campaign, or something like.
You could even
You can
use,
get,
or
like,
you could do something
if
like,
you-
Steffi, I'd love to
puns
work
are
with
great.
you. Puns, anything that you,
Puns
I
are great.
like eye-catching.
Puns get attention, but I mean, like, don't make it a few words. Just as long as it's like a few words. I mean, like, if I have met someone somewhere, I reference that.
Yeah.
Great meeting at
Following up from...
MVCon 18.
Okay.
And I also like things to where people are like, for instance, if it's a product that could help you or something like help, desperate, work with me. Not like that, but like help. Because I worked for the humidifier. If it's chocolate, don't do that. But like I worked for a humidifier company, so someone could be like, I can't breathe. Let's do an influencer campaign together. I liked that. Something that is specific to my brand. Yes. Very true. Very true. But also at the same time, if it's eye-catching, as opposed to just putting a bland that it does not reference either the person or the product.
Right.
I don't recommend just saying influencer campaign. Potential influencer
give them
campaign.
like at least let them know like the peg that you're looking for, because they might be like they've just talked about like, oh, we have to plan for Christmas, and then they see the word Christmas in their inbox, and they're like, I was just planning Christmas. What is that?
I want a cookie right now. They've got cookies. Right. But yeah, something I just don't like really bland, generic. It needs to have a little something, whether it's the name of the person that you met, whether it's the type of campaign you want to do, whether it's the type of product that you're working with.
Where you met them.
Something.
Whatever.
But make it a specific in some way, as something that's going to make me other than potential influencer campaign.
See, that's really helpful, because that's what you get when you ask a lot of people is like, you know, influencer campaign or like blanket stuff like that. So.
Yeah. The whole point in like the swipe right thing for me is that you need to stand out in a little bit of a way that's going to make me want to take a second look at what you send me. And just saying influencer campaign is not going to, I mean, I'll probably open it anyway. But if you say something cool or interesting or personal, I'm already predisposed to like you and want to read more.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I think we're out of time. Are there any other questions? I think we're good.
Yeah.